Okay, so we have finished chapter 2. At this point, you should have hopefully taken the chapter 2 test. All those graded and sent back to you here shortly if you haven't already got it. The chapter 3 that we're going to start here is all about polynomials, which a polynomial is actually is kind of a couple words here. Poly, the word means many. Nomial means names or terms. So the word literally means many terms. And really, it's anytime you have one or more terms being added or subtracted together. So, these are all examples of polynomials where you can have constant terms, linear terms, cubic terms, fifth power terms, any variety of terms being added and subtracted together. Standard form, like we've had with quadratics and with linear functions and everything too, it says here standard form of polynomial is putting the terms in order of highest to lowest power of x. Put each of these polynomials in standard form. So again, just kind of introducing a vocab term here. This is one of these that makes sense, and you're going to see it throughout this entire chapter of polynomials. So when they say standard form, you're going to look at your x's here, and whatever the highest power of x, that's going to be your lead term. So in this case, keep the coefficient that goes with it. So this is going to be this is technically a negative 1x to the fifth, but we just don't write the 1. So it's negative x to the fifth is our lead term. The next highest power is this x to the third, so we have plus 6x to the third, minus the 2x. And then the constant term, the one that doesn't have an x at all, if there is one, is always going to be the last term. So this would be our standard form polynomial. So power is in descending order, and then if there's a constant term, it's always last. All right, so this one, pretty straightforward. You would put the variable term first, so the negative x to the first, and then the plus 10. The real skill to be careful with here is just make sure you keep the coefficients with the terms. Like this is a negative 1x. It needs to stay a negative 1x. And then our last one here, obviously that term already in the lead. And then the x to the third would be next. The x squared would be next. And lastly, the minus 4x. So this one doesn't have a constant term, which is fine. You just, again, powers should go in descending order, and you keep the coefficients with them. So real common skill you're going to see in this chapter. So I figured we just introduce it in the warm-up, and then we'll use it going forward here. So when you get to the notes here, if you don't have a copy of the notes, I did pass them out if I saw you in class. If you're virtual, you need to print them. I'll have the PDF on there as well. And so we'll be starting off fresh chapter today.